speak like right.
All right, welcome back to the Great Give Radiothon at WNHH-FM 103.5, live streamed at newhavenindependent.org. We're getting a second wind here because we're hearing from, there are 488 nonprofits in New Haven signed up for these 36 hours, all raising money, hoping we all get contributions, hoping to raise a total of $1.5 million as part of an annual event coordinated by the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven. Here, we're doing a radiothon to let you meet some of the folks who can tell you why it makes a lot of sense to give them money. In this segment, we're asking you to go to The Great Give, thegreatgive.org, and type in something really easy to type, 108 monkeys. Matter of fact, if you just type 108, I think you're going to find it. And there's a really good reason you should give them money, and let's find out why. We're going to find out why from Liz Lowe, Laura Shankoff, and Michelle Morgan. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
And Alan Appel's here. What's going on with 108 monkeys?
All right. Thanks so much for having us here. We're really grateful to be included in this radio spot. 108 Monkeys is a yoga service organization. What we do is we bring yoga and mindfulness-based practices to people where they're at, regardless of what experiences they've had or whether or not they can make it to a yoga studio. We make sure that people who can benefit from yoga, meditation, mindfulness, breathing practices have access to it. We work with inclusivity to people's experiences. We have a trauma-informed practice, and we're conscientious of what we bring as teachers when we're working with participants and emphasize the process over the product or the outcome, encouraging people to be co-participants in their own experience of healing and recovery.
All right. So I know you sometimes, well, you have a studio people go to, right? And then you also go places. Oh, you don't have a studio.
We actually don't have a studio.
But you've got,
no.
I know New Haven Academy, you had a very popular, for years you were doing mindfulness and yoga for high school kids.
That's right.
What other kind of places do you go and do this work?
Well, we go into schools primarily, but we can be found, in parks or libraries, church basements, pretty much anywhere where you want to do yoga, we'll show up.
I know that Peg Oliveira, who started this group, right?
Yep.
Since she started, how many years ago?
6.
The
6 years
world's
ago.
changed since then. Both yoga and mindfulness. Boy, so many more people are thinking about that now. So many people are participating. Alan, you've done yoga for a lot of years. Didn't you do yoga or meditation?
Well, I had a terrible experience with yoga actually. When I was married, ever so briefly for about 11 months, my wife.
You are married now for a long time.
For a
This is your
very
first
long
year.
time, yeah. It was a kind of starter marriage, but she was into yoga, and so we went to a kind of a yoga experience in. So I guess the message.
What year was that?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I like to not remember.
1970s?
Early 1970s.
And where was this experience?
It was at a kind of a zendo, kind of a Buddhist place where yoga was a part of the practice in the West Village.
And what was wrong with the experience?
Well, I just wasn't very nimble or flexible. I think women anatomically are just better at it than, and we're here with three female monkeys. You notice, so I think yoga is something that I basically wasn't as good as anybody anywhere near me, and I felt we don't like to do things that we're not good at.
So Liz, Laura, and Michelle, the reason I wanted Alan to speak about this is I wanted to turn the clock now to 2018, and you have this organization, and I got a hunch that when you heard that story, it made you think about what you try to accomplish and how you do it. Am I right or wrong about that?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about that. What would you have done for Alan in 1978?
Well, it looks a little different today, because we're all about just let's do some yoga and it's cool and you don't have to be like ultra spiritual or have cool pants or anything like that.
Wait, you don't have to have cool pants?
You don't have to have
now
yoga
I feel
pants.
much better. I feel welcome now.
And that's like,
because I don't have cool pants.
yeah, you do not have to have cool yoga pants. You don't have to have like any tattoos or anything like that. It's not required. So we work a lot with kids and we work a lot with people in schools, teachers, staff, whatever. We find that it's really a great way to give kids and teachers some control over their environment. You're in
That's
school
an
all
intense
day.
environment, especially high school, when you're so charged up in so many ways and you're feeling battered physically, emotionally every minute, and everything's a rush and everything's loud. That's the vibe I got when I heard about how much New Haven Academy loved it. Like, you wouldn't have thought urban high school yoga instead. And they said, please don't leave. Like, you know, it kind of made them centered for the day. They just kind of took a break and got connected to themselves. And
Yeah.
centered.
Totally. Like this week in New Haven schools, they're doing testing, right? So all
Oh
the
my
kids are
God.
like, and it's math.
We
all
need you
things there.
bad for that week.
Right, right. So, I mean, I've had teachers approach me. Oh, you're a yoga teacher. Oh, what can you tell me what to do in my classroom? So, I'm actually going in. I go on Wednesdays. I'll go tomorrow to a K through 8 school, a pre-K through 8 school in New Haven, and I do the teachers first. So it's 7:30 in the morning. It's an open class for any teacher who wants it.
And do they show up?
Yeah, and they start their day off right with a little time for themselves, a little stretching, a little yoga, some breathing, lots of breathing. And we give them some tools to manage themselves throughout the day, right? Because if you're screaming at your kids to be quiet and calm down, they're going to be like, why are you yelling at me? So we want to get the teachers off on the right foot and teach them some things that they can do in their classroom throughout the day. So it's not like yoga period, right? But then I do the entire 4th grade of this elementary school. So it's like 50 kids, right, in the auditorium or the gym. And we do this giant yoga class. And it's really great. It really changes the tone of the day. So there are other days where emotions are high, stress, you know, kids are not behaving maybe, or they're not at their best. But halfway through the week, they have a time to slow down, connect with their breath, their body, do some different stuff.
So
maybe
you
do some
stretch
tricks.
parts of your body, and is it different from what Alan was describing, where people are seeing who's good at it, or like, what are you trying to do when you're in a yoga class?
So let's talk a little bit about that, because that's the kind of thing, as a 20-year veteran of teaching yoga, really drives me bananas. So you don't have to be good at yoga to do yoga, right? You don't
That's
have
what
to
I
be able to
thought.
touch your toes to come into a yoga class. And I love it when somebody who can't touch their toes comes into a yoga class. That's not what it's about, right? And to speak to what you had mentioned earlier, we're not a yoga studio, and that's unique. And what happens is many people don't feel comfortable going to a yoga studio, can't afford going to a yoga studio, don't have transportation to a yoga studio. And a yoga studio tends to serve a certain demographic, and 108 Monkeys opens the doors by moving into their populations where they're comfortable, where they're with their own people in their environment, whether it's in their mental health facilities, recovery, addiction, schools we've mentioned several times. Will be all throughout the summer. Laura can speak to that in a moment about where we're going to be doing some outdoor yoga, right? So yoga is not about being in a particularly beautiful yoga studio space and being able to already touch your toes. This is about opening up our mind and learning some techniques to deal with everyday stress and trauma.
And it's 108 Monkeys is the group that does that. One of the 488 nonprofits in New Haven doing great work, raising money through the 36-hour Great Give. And they're right now on the WNHH Great Give Radiothon. So show them some love by going to thegreatgive.org. Don't forget that because you're going to end up in the wrong place otherwise. Thegreatgive.org. They could put in monkey. They could put in 108. I have a feeling it's going to pop up. And also, if you feel like supporting this radio station, it's not-for-profit public interest station, WNHH, you could put in that too, WNHH. We're not asking you to give to us and not other organizations. Please give to as many as you can. You mentioned recovery,
Yes.
Lauren. There's been a lot of talk about the rise in opiate addiction, and not just opiate addiction, addiction in general. Does the kind of work you do, yoga and mindfulness, play any role in helping people cope with addiction and trying to go clean?
100%. I think everybody has their own path to recovery, and there are lots of different paths that people need to learn what's best for them. But right now we're serving a particular recovery center here in New Haven, and many of the patients are opioid addicts in recovery. And what we hope to bring to them is the pause. Right, when you're working in recovery and you're working on your own recovery, the ability to pause and to reflect and to respond rather than to react is a big part of yoga and mindfulness. So we're reactive, we don't think, we don't pause, we don't take the breath. And if you really want to be responsive and care for yourself, you take that pause. And so through meditation, through breathing exercises, and mindfulness practices, And yoga is a very broad term.
Yeah, I was wondering where mindfulness begins and yoga begins. And
Right. I mean, yoga is like it's a humongous umbrella. And I mean, you can sing in your church and be practicing yoga of service. You don't ever have to do a yoga pose or a particular yoga breathing technique. So they're not synonymous, they're not separate, but mindfulness is about being aware of the present moment. So that if you are working, say, with your recovery, what are you feeling, thinking right now? And then how can a deep breath, a pause, some greater attention to yourself help you connect more deeply to that moment?
Okay, Liz, you were going to tell us about work you're going to do this summer.
This is Laura. I'm
sorry,
Liz.
I'm
That's
sorry,
okay.
Liz, I'm sorry. Laura, you're going to tell us the work you're doing this summer with 108 Monkeys with kids.
Yeah, there's a lot coming up, and there's a lot that we've been doing over the past years. This year, we've been doing a lot of work with professional development for educators, working with kids from preschool through high school. This summer, just immediate upcoming things that people can have on their radar. This coming Saturday at the Fairhaven Family Stroll at 1:30 p.m. Sorry, Michelle is going to be teaching a family yoga class. We had taught a family yoga class last year at the Fairhaven Family Stroll as well. Then May 11th and 12th, there's a performance at Long Wharf Theater called Small Mouth Sounds, an improv performance, and all of the proceeds are going to benefit 108 Monkeys. That's a wonderful thing that people can show up to.
What's the name 108 Monkeys? Where's that come from?
Ooh, who wants to go?
We'll have our board member answer that question. Laura can answer that.
108 Monkeys has to do with so we've got the number 108 and we've got the term monkey. So 108 is a very sacred number in different mythologies. It shows up in nature and it shows up in religion and spirituality. There are 108 names for Hindu deities. There are 108 beads on a mala. There's 108 stitches on a baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a number that holds a lot of meaning.
Was that
out
by
there
accident
in the
with
world.
the baseball, or was the guy a yoga practitioner back in the day when they?
There's 108 beads on a rosary. So who knows? It could be anything.
Wow, I
Yeah.
never knew that about the 108. And what about the monkeys?
The monkeys has to do with the monkey mind. So it's a reference to the fact that we've all got this kind of monkey bouncing around in our brain.
I got
and
one for sure.
Yeah, and that meditation
I like
and
mine.
mindfulness are really difficult. And that it's about sort of taming the monkey, but also just acknowledging that it's there and letting it wreak its havoc and then kind of coming back to center.
Well, I
I
can go
actually
for that.
just realized I wanted to say something to correct myself earlier. I mentioned the Long Wharf Theater. We had done a talk back at this event, Small Mouth Sounds, and that's why it was in my mind. But the event this coming May 11th and 12th is called Mindful Mayhem. Sorry about that. And that's an improv comedy event that 108 Monkeys is going to be part of and
Sounds
benefiting
fun.
from.
Come, you get to participate, sit in the audience, and
Or not.
Yeah.
or
You
not.
And
can,
we-
you can pay to get a seat that no one bothers you at. So
About-
We
it's
asked
true.
everyone to come bring a song or a poem or a dance. What you folks bring?
I can lead a mindfulness exercise if you would
Let's
like.
go
I mean,
for
I
it.
could sing and dance, but I don't know if it's going to be
Let's
relevant.
do the mindfulness exercise.
Okay. So if you're sitting in your car, you could play along. You can be sitting at your desk, standing, lying down, whatever is best for you. If you're sitting at your car, get your hands at 10 and 2, put them on the steering wheel. So this is called Tense and Relax. And I think we all have noticed those times during the day where maybe the shoulders start to creep towards the ears. And so we're actually going to exaggerate the tension that we already feel in our bodies. So if you're holding your steering wheel or your hands are in your lap, you're going to go ahead and clench your fists and shrug your shoulders towards your ears, even squeeze your face muscles, clench your jaw, clench your eyes. And then on your next exhale, let it all go. We're going to do that again. Tense your hands, shrug your shoulders towards your ears, squeeze your belly muscles, push your toes into your shoes, and then exhale. Let it all go. One more time because you look like you're having some fun. You're going to go ahead, squeeze those fists, squeeze the steering wheel, pull your toes in your shoes, your eyes, your jaw, and exhale. Right? So there's this ability to let go, right? We just have to give ourselves permission to do so sometimes.
Sign me up.
All right.
And we have given permission to everyone listening right now to the Great Give Radiothon on WNHH to do the following. Type in thegreatgive.org in your computer or in the search engine on your phone. Look up 108 Monkeys, and let's give them some help in bringing mindfulness, peace, yoga to a stressful world with too many cell phones. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Liz
having
Lowell,
us.
Laura Scheinkoff, Michelle Morgan. It's great to see you. I love when you come in every year. Your group do great work.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
going
you
to take
so
a
much.
little break, and then we got a special musical event. We got the whole band showing up here right now. They're ready to set up for Iris, a group we know for resettling refugees in our community. We didn't know that the leader of Iris has a song he's going to be ready to sing. So we're going to take a little break with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Feel to Be Free. Then we'll be right back with the Great Give Radiothon at WNHH, your home for community radio.